Newzroom Afrika's Ntando Mnyandu starts us off. Ntando, good to have you live tonight here on In Focus. What are we learning as some of the speakers are talking there, making their presentations?
Good evening to you, Thabo, and to our viewers at home. Well, indeed, we are coming to you live from Ulundi, which was the residence of the late King Cetshwayo kaMpande. His palace, called Ondini, is situated here. This place is also known as the core of the Zulu heritage and history and culture. So tonight we are seeing speakers taking to the podium, commemorating and remembering the bravery of the late King Cetshwayo, the one who commanded, warriors and regiments to the mountain of Isandlwana, which then gave birth to the Anglo-Zulu War that took place in 1879, where we saw Zulu warriors, taking on heavily armed British soldiers and defeating them, trying to protect and successfully so protecting the sovereignty of the Zulu nation. But what we are seeing in this province is a series of commemoration celebrations, that are taking place ahead of the real or the actual celebration, which is scheduled for this coming weekend on the 27th, where we'll see the reenactment of what transpired some more than 100 years ago when Zulu warriors took on British heavily armed soldiers. But to tell us about the significance of this day, as we are expecting to see a memorial lecture delivered by Prince Zuzifa Buthelezi, who's the chief of the Buthelezi clan and the son of the late Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi. We are now joined by the mayor of Zululand District Municipality, Buthelezi. Baba, thank you very much for your time. Such a historic moment today, some 145 years ago. Why are we here? Why are we celebrating and commemorating the battlefield or the Anglo-Zulu War?
Well, as the Zululand District Municipality, we decided to commemorate 145 years after the Zulu army was victorious against the British at the Battle of Isandlwana during the reign of King Cetshwayo. And this evening we will have the memorial lecture, which will tell the story of the Battle of Isandlwana. And our speaker will be Prince Zuzifa Buthelezi, Inkosi of the Buthelezi clan, and son of the late Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, whose great-great-grandfather was King Cetshwayo. As Zulus, we are proud of our heritage, and especially the youth. We want them to know their history, where they come from, and the struggle for the land in South Africa. It didn't start with the ANC in 1912, but it started with the kings, particularly the Zulu king, King Cetshwayo in 1879. So we're here to remember our fallen heroes, lest we forget, and to chart the way forward.
The importance of Isandlwana as the battlefield, it was declared as a holy mountain by the late King Goodwill Zwelithini. Are we seeing prominence given to that site?
Well, unfortunately, the government of the day has looked down upon our cultural heritage as South Africans. They do not promote our history. And therefore, it is incumbent upon us as the Zululand District Municipality, led by the IFP, because Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi taught us that we should never forget about our past. Therefore, because the government does not give due regard, we thought let us do it ourselves, so that our children must never forget about Isandlwana. They must never forget about the brave warriors that fought for the land, that fought for the king, and for generations to come. We will always lift up the name Isandlwana as a monument of Zulu victory.
Talking about the warriors and Amabutho that took on the British army, led by Omntwana Uchingwayo, Khoza, Omntwana Ubuzamanzi, do we see prominence being given to Amabutho as the most important part of and heritage of the Zulu nation?
Well, tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock, we will be leading Amabutho, who will take a 98-kilometer journey from Ulundi via Emakosini to Isandlwana. Because Amabutho are the backbone of the Zulu nation. They are the king's army. And therefore today we have Amabutho here as part of the audience to listen to the great tales of the generals. Among them was Mnyamane kaNgqengelele, Chingwaye Mahole Khoza, and the King Cetshwayo, who led the Zulu army.
Briefly, talk to us about the reign of King Cetshwayo, those highlights, as he is one of the bravest kings ever to grace the African continent.
King Cetshwayo was a very troubled king because he loved peace, but unfortunately the British provoked him, wanting to take away his land, and he defended the land, and the Zulus inflicted the greatest defeat on the British army in 1879, 22 January. And therefore, 145 years later, we celebrate King Cetshwayo, and we want to ensure that future generations are part of this history.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, that is the district mayor of Zululand, Mangosuthu Buthelezi, saying that Inkosi Cetshwayo was one of the bravest of them all, who protected and preserved the land of the Zulu nation and took on the British army that was heavily armed. So we're expecting to see the memorial lecture being delivered any moment from now by Prince Zuzifa Buthelezi Thabo.
That's Ntando Mnyandu. Thank you tonight for your intervention there.